Hi, this is Steve. Welcome to Comics Crossfire. On most of these segments, we talk about two fictional heroes battling one another, occasionally fictional villains battling one another, often from Marvel or DC. Who wins that battle? Tonight we're doing something a little bit different. Tonight we're going to be talking about a real-life superhero. This is Phoenix Jones, also known by his real name, Ben Fodor, from Seattle, Washington. In early October, Phoenix Jones was caught on tape basically gassing some people in the face with tear gas after trying to break up a fight, and found himself being arrested on several charges of assault. The video has since gone viral, and in the video he wears what can only be described as a fantastically ridiculous rubber suit. I'm here with Alex Jones, no relation to the esteemed superhero, I assume.
Unfortunately.
I know, it's heartbreaking, but you know, Ben Fodor has some background in MMA, and you know quite a bit about that. So why don't you give me your first impressions on a real-life superhero, Phoenix Jones?
I think he's a bit ridiculous. I mean, we'll get into why in a minute on that, but as far as like having the mixed martial arts background, I mean, that really makes him no different than any other guy that goes into a gym every weekend and, you know, every other day of the week and just trains. I mean, you know, just because you can perform a few takedowns and learn how to bend someone's arm behind their back doesn't mean you should get out there and throw yourself in the middle of a crowd when something's going on. I mean, all it takes is one bullet or a swing from a baseball bat or something like that to knock you right out of there. And I mean, like one of the guys said on the video, it's just best to call the cops or, you know, try to break it up at the minimum, but don't jump in there restraining people, throwing your arms around like that. I mean, you're going to get hurt that way.
He also, it's important to know or to realize, in the video at least that we saw, he wasn't really taking anybody down using his mad MMA skills. He was spraying them with, you know, pepper spray. So not exactly Bruce Wayne in the Batcave, you know, training at the foot of Ra's al Ghul or anything like that. Tell me about your impressions of the costume.
From here to here, the costume looks fine.
All right.
You know, it's got a mask. But I mean, obviously you can see from the outfit, it's a separate mask that's separate from the chest, which is separate from the rest of him. If it was maybe one top piece, it might look a little bit better. But I mean, he's walking around and it's kind of flimsy. It's kind of separating itself. You know, you can probably feel a gust of wind coming up there. He's got baggy pants on and what looks to be like a fanny pack strapped to the sides of his legs that I guess he can carry his flashlight or his mason or something like that. You know, I mean, it's really flimsy. I mean, you know, he's obviously trying. He gave it like some kind of color. He put it black. So I mean, which again looks kind of bad. I mean, you're running around in a black suit at night. Most people are going to think you're a mugger. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I'm in trouble and this guy with a hood over his head wearing all black comes over and starts grabbing on me, I'm not going to think he's trying to help me. I'm going to think he's trying to help the other guy rob me.
Even with the plasticized pectorials and the gold striping on the costume, you don't think that guy's there to help you?
I'm gonna, honestly, in the heat of the moment, you might think he's wearing that so that you don't see his face and that he actually might be trying to attack you too. Like, I mean, it's like most muggers that wear a hockey mask or put a hood over their head. You know, a guy with some kind of weird outfit. I mean, if you want to get out there and help people, why what's the outfit even for? You know, outside of just shock value. You know, I mean, it's like if you want to get out there and help people, be a cop. You know, or just, you know, if you see people fighting in the street, you want to help out, just help them out. Like, I mean, you put on all that gear, you strap your legs up and all that kind of stuff. You look, obviously you're doing it to get noticed. You want to be filmed, you want to be videotaped, you want to be put on camera, and you know, I guess he's hoping that he can maybe get a following and, you know, maybe get some backing behind him. But I mean, it seems like it's going to cause a lot of trouble.
And of course, we're talking about him, so we're probably feeding into that. You mentioned about his costume and talking about the baggy pants. I mean, well, what do we expect? I mean, we don't want him wearing, you know, Superman trunks or anything, or spandex. So I think that's probably a wise choice ultimately.
I mean, granted, from far away, I mean, look at it this way. From far away, without the gold stripe on his chest, he looks like a man in black pants and a hoodie. You know, I mean, I don't know what the V is for. I guess maybe that's just a coincidence that it's shaped like a V. Maybe a J on his chest would have helped him out a little bit better. But it just looks silly to me. Like, I mean, he looks like a garbage collector, you know, just happened to have a costume sale in his neighborhood. You know, it just... Leave it to the cops. Leave it to the authorities. You know, don't do that.
Now, he's been since unmasked, so we've seen the real Ben Fodor underneath the mask. Probably mispronouncing his name, but whatever. And we've seen his haircut. Your impressions on that? Little kid in play, right?
A little bit of a kid in play. The video of him in the ring, his mixed martial arts fight, he had the exact same haircut, but it was gold on the top. I mean, it kind of reminisced me of a corn dog almost. You know, like it, you know, kind of had the like a little bit of a mustard swirl on the top of his head going. I mean, I don't want to make fun of the guy, but I mean, come on, you look ridiculous. I mean, I can understand why he's wearing a mask with the hood over his head now, because if he had that haircut and tried to save me, I probably wouldn't take him seriously.
You'd rather have him with the hood trying to save you, as scary as that was.
I'd rather him take his cell phone out and call the cops.
Now, real life superhero, to the extent you're going to have one. Let's talk about how this character would match up against a fictional character. Let's take him, and it may be a short conversation, but Phoenix Jones versus Punisher. Let's just to pick one. Let's assume Punisher's guns are all being he's cleaning his guns, so he doesn't have his Glocks and his 6 Sauers or anything like that. So it's just it's just martial arts acumen, no guns or anything, no pepper spray from Phoenix Jones. Who wins that fight?
It's hard to imagine a scenario where this would even happen. Like, I mean, me personally, if I saw a guy wearing a giant skull on his shirt, which would be probably kind of comparable to the ridiculous V I had on my shirt, I'm only guessing that he would approach the Punisher, hey, get your hands off of that poor drug dealer or whatever.
Okay, and I'm just the Punisher, like, thinking he's a criminal and just kick the shit out of him, basically?
I would think
that's
Punisher
probably
would look at him and say something like, along the lines of, get the hell out of here. And
this is an amateur hour.
I'm guessing, a couple seconds later you see, sir, I need you to, and then the Punisher just kind of hitting him in the throat and just putting him down and saying, butt out of this, leave it to the professionals, get off of my corner. I don't really see that fight going anywhere. Outside of Phoenix Jones maybe tackling him from behind and dragging him to the ground, I really can't see that fight going on other than Phoenix Jones walking home with very sore and disappointed.
Right. Let's step back for a moment. The Punisher's been previously portrayed in cinema. The first version, we'll discount the Dolph Lundgren one. Most people do.
Why?
Just
Dolph Lundgren.
He didn't even have the skull on his shirt. Come on.
Well,
just a guy in a black shirt.
He's the Punisher, and we were all punished.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
he did his job.
But let's talk about the reboot before the most recent reboot, Punisher Warzone.
Thomas Jane.
Tom Jane.
Okay.
Who wins the fight between Phoenix Jones and Tom Jane?
Thomas Jane has fought sharks.
That's true. Deep Blue Sea.
That guy can fight sharks.
Bangs a lot of girls and hung. A lot of stuff, a lot of weapons at his.
He's got his own baton.
Yeah, there you go.
Are we just Thomas Jane in general, or the Punisher Thomas Jane?
Thomas Jane, after he's been working out for the Punisher.
That's actually a lot.
Tom Jane is mugging somebody in Seattle. Phoenix Jones rolls up on him, trying to stop Thomas Jane from, mugging some woman who's coming out of a club or whatever. Who wins that fight?
I mean, off of just reputation, I would have to honestly give that one to Phoenix Jones, because I figure a kind of fight between those two guys is it's not gonna be one of those square off and put your dukes up and swing each other. These guys are gonna end up rolling around on the ground somewhere, and we have to assume Phoenix Jones has some manner of martial arts training. He might be able to pull off a submission or something like that on the ground, but then again, we don't know what Thomas Jane does behind the scenes too. But I mean, going off of the information alone, I'd have to give that one to Phoenix.
All right. Yeah. Last one, Phoenix Jones versus Rocky. Who wins that fight? And we can also, in a bonus one, Apollo Creed. Who wins?
Oh, jeez. I gotta give Rocky that one, because I mean, you know what? Phoenix Jones could be the toughest guy in the world out there saving crime and knocking over cars if he wants, but we've all seen Rocky get hit by pretty much everything he can get hit by and not go down. And I outside of Clubber Lang, but
that's right.
but then again, he came back and he beat the hell out of Clubber. So I'm guessing, well, you know what? Phoenix might be able to mace Rocky's face up a little bit. But again, going back to it, Rocky's eyes have been swollen completely shut before, and he's still
had to be cut to be able to see.
I can still kind of give that one to Rocky. The man can fight blind. He can fight with tears already in his face. So I don't see what the mace is gonna do. I'll give that one to Rocky.
And Apollo Creed, who wins that one?
I figure Apollo Creed is going to dance for a little bit, kind of scuffle his feet around, and as soon as he gets close, he's probably going to get hit with the baton. Phoenix Jones isn't the type that's going to chase him around. He's probably going to stand there and say, hey, I've seen your movies. As soon as you get over here,
I know how the Russian guy, housed you back in Rocky IV.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And hey, a boxer's weakness are his legs, and mixed martial artists do take people down.
That's true. Very good. Well, this is Comics Crossfire, debating the merits of Phoenix Jones. Thanks for being with us.